Vayan within.
Okay, okay, yeah. In my symphony, my beat goes down the way you like it. In my symphony, I put down tracks straight to the beat. In my symphony, they keep you high, so high, so high. In my symphony, yeah. We gonna drink what you drinking. I wanna know. Around us, Hennessy on
Vayan
me.
within.
In my symphony, in my symphony, you can get lost to the beat. It's crazy in my symphony. What's up? What's up? It's your girl, Chica Savage. And this is Friday afternoon, and we are talking about finding work during COVID-19, Women's Edition. What's up, y'all? Man, the struggle has been real. Man, big ups to all of the women that have been making it happen some kind of way, any kind of way for income. I mean, the struggle been real, y'all. Americans today, especially women, have had it difficult with COVID-19. The income flow is steady getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter, and jobs are steady getting yanked from up under us. So big ups to the women who are surviving this pandemic. I was talking to some of my associates a couple of weeks ago, and they were saying how they were doing different end and odd jobs to keep up the flow of the money, as well as the government. They're trying, but you know what you only can fix the mistake that you made. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you fix it. Yeah, I mean, COVID-19 didn't come from nowhere. Yeah, so y'all made the mistake. Now you want to fix it. Took the jobs away, you know. And women, we were hit the hardest. And for some of the first jobs that majority of women work in were real estate, clothing stores, airlines, teaching, daycare, after school sports, cheerleading, things of that nature, tutoring programs. A lot of that stems from women. Women of America. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm sure there's women that can say, well, I have my welding license, and that's good, and or I have a more of a manly, hands-on type of job. So those businesses really didn't see an impact of downtime. But many homes were hit hard by this pandemic. When you lost your job, if you did lose your job to a pandemic, and you were fortunate to get unemployment, that even stopped at one point in time. So it's been a challenge, difficult for women during the COVID-19 period. I want to hit hard on some topics today, as far as how did it affect your household. I'm sure it affected it in many different ways, and the first thing we're going to discuss is actually which jobs got hit the most. Which jobs got hit the most? And I have to say, clothing stores, small business owners, they got hit the most with the pandemic. A lot of people don't know it, but a lot of teenage after school work comes from clothing stores and small business owners of that nature. So those were the first businesses that really see that effect. After that, it was marketing and real estate. Can't sell homes. Can't market anything if all the businesses are shut down, including yours. So I think that was number number two. Teaching was number three. Um, yes, a lot of schools did shut down, but it's only so many teachers you need to do online. So yes, some teachers were still working, but they were more qualified than other teachers. They got the job. Um, that still was a hard hitting area. A lot of teachers, um, tried to pick up tutoring on the side, but I mean, the worse it got. I mean, the decline in teaching, it went. Um, if you were teaching, you were so scared to teach that you were teaching, you know, and your life was your life was in jeopardy. So big up to the teachers that still taught, and those that wanted to teach but couldn't teach. I had applause off to you. That goes to just show you. Also, daycare workers. I'm sorry, daycare workers were in that as well as teaching. That just goes to show you that okay, yeah, you still probably got income, unemployment, but what your whole life was turned upside down due to this. If you're a teacher, you're a giving kind of person. So when you're not fulfilling your dream of giving, your whole purpose is lost. You shut down. I know a lot of teachers that wanted to teach but got pushed out because they weren't needed, and then come to find out they were needed. Just a limbo of nobody knew what to do. So that's a very sensitive subject. So when it comes to that, like I said, I applaud even the mothers that had to stay home and teach their kids for free. I absolutely applaud you for that. That was I couldn't, it's just devastation. But you have to do what you got to do when your back is against the wall. Airline workers that work high in the sky, your jobs were taken away from you guys. Some of you been doing it your whole life. Your dad probably was pilots, or your uncles or your grandpas, something that made you want to travel and meet new people every single day. That was a joy to you, and they got taken away as well. All after school programs, tutoring, cheerleading, gymnastics, volleyball, all type of, women working all types of lucrative sports events. All type of after school programs were shut down, and a lot of women lost their jobs due to that. And that's just a few jobs that took a fall due to the close of COVID-19. When we return, we'll be talking about how did it affect your home? What area? During this break, you will be listening to one of my singles in my symphony, and I hope you enjoy. Let the beat take you to a place far away. You have nothing to worry about. Let your head down. Enjoy my
am within.
in my symphony. Yeah, in my symphony. In my symphony, yeah. It gets hot, so hot, yeah. You got to stop. Hey, in my symphony, the music will take you to another place. In my symphony, yeah, you won't regret it. You won't regret it, yeah. In my symphony, all the boys are gonna want you. In my symphony,
I am within.
and all the girls are gonna want you too. This is my symphony music, yeah. I go in the studio, I put it down and I do it, yeah. My symphony music, my symphony music. This is my symphony music. Don't you lose it, yeah. are back on the Real Super Savage Show, and I'm your host, Super Savage. And we are talking about finding work during COVID-19, Women's Edition. And for those listeners that are just not joining us, thank you for listening. And that was Symphony brought to you by your girl, Super Savage. Now, once they took away the jobs, necessarily they took away supposedly for health reasons to protect other people, which is understandable. But when it comes to your home, what changed inside of your home? I know food and commodities, those things, you saw a hit in those areas, as well as paying bills. When it came to paying bills, you had to start paying half of the amount or making payment arrangements. This is not something that just was on and off, like a 1 or 2 week event. This was your whole rest of your life changing. So your whole lifestyle changed in a blink of an eye. One day you're able to maybe go out and have pizza one day, and then the next day you could eat whatever you wanted to eat, coming home from work or school and go in your refrigerator, eat whatever you wanted to. The thought of shortage in food and cleaning supplies and health care supplies was the last thing that you were thinking about having to think about in a serious manner. Also, paying bills, your light, water, gas, things that you've been having for centuries that you've never been without. Internet became a worldwide problem for Americans during 2020. March 2020 is when the pandemic started. And a year later, the problem is not over. Yes, the vaccine is here, but the problem is still here. I want to encourage everybody to still do your social distancing, do your homework when it comes to going out to different places. Just because they're open does not mean that you have to run out there and act like life is still different. Okay, I want you guys to still be cautious. Wear your mask, do your social distancing, because you didn't know when that was coming, and you don't know when anything is coming. So always be cautious. If anything, I've learned from Americans in the United system, and government, is that always be on your toes. You never know what the hell they're gonna come up with next. And so I'm not gonna. It'll be a while. I probably would never ever be comfortable with the government because they don't take precaution. And this is a precaution stage in our lives. So I know you want to get back to normalcy, but what is normalcy? What is really normal when it comes to America? What is really normal? We thought we were normal for centuries, for decades. But before that, there was something else. And after this, there will be something else. So just be ready for anything that comes your way. Don't never let your guard back down. Okay, just because things are opening back up, don't do it. Always be precautious and take precautionaries in protecting you and your family. When it came to your light, your water, your gas, those must needs, those took a dive in needing assistance almost immediately. I know I went from being able to pay 2 months ahead of time to getting payment arrangements just to pay that 1 month. A lot of different companies did work with you, and a lot didn't. To those that didn't, shame on you, because that's going to come back and bite you, because God sees what you are doing. This is the time that we need to come together, not see who's better than who, and this is the time that it's going to affect every last single American. So for those companies that did not help out, and I'm calling out Suddenlink for sure, did not help out, did not get into a program, did not get partnered up with some type of assistance aid program to help out families, that's going to come back on you. Paying whole amounts became very difficult for families, as well as I'm sure everybody had a birthday, or there was a a holiday during this epidemic, and that changed for you. Christmas definitely changed for me, as well as my son's birthday is coming up in April, and that it's not going to be like it was every single year. It's just because the funds are not available. Not to do what we would normally do, but like I said, you cannot live in the norm anymore because there is no such thing as a norm. So with that being said, is big shots out to those people that had those assistant programs, because I don't know what we would have did without you guys. Red Cross as well. Big up to those companies. Also, if you were paying car notes or paying furniture bills, things of that nature, you saw a decline in payments due to those as well. I mean, it's just the funds were not there. And yes, we were getting, or y'all or anyone was getting, unemployment, but that only goes so far when you're used to making so much and already having your bills figured out. So you have to refigure out your bills. That was a pain in the butt. And then who wouldn't work for you, you have to make those the top of your list. I mean, my landlord worked with me on my rent, but my internet company didn't. So I was paying my internet bill before I was even paying rent. That's just because I have to have the internet in order to work. And I could pay my rent on the 6th or the 7th, but that had to be paid on the 1st, or that would get cut off. See what I'm saying? You have to adjust your bills and jiggle it and see which ones you have to pay first. By that time, you're back out of money, and a lot of food banks saw a lot of upscale increase in having to have the demand for food, because there was just the money was not there, the funds were not there. Before you know it, the money that you were getting, if you were getting any, it was gone already. And then you were like, what can I do for side work? What can I do for a hustle, without committing a crime, without bamboozling anyone, without hurting anybody or lying or being condescending? What can I do good, faithful work at? And so you have to get on your knees and turn to God. And there were some jobs, and still are some jobs that will that they are offering out there during the pandemic. A lot of them are online, but there are some still in the area where you live in, and we're going to take a look at those. As you know, in healthcare, there were a spiking in need for RNs. CNA work also became a very demanding field. Like I said, we were running out of registered nurses, nurse practitioners. We were running we were running out of them. A shortage. And I know you're saying, "Hey, I didn't have the credentials to make it there." But let me tell you something. They have programs out there online where you could go be an RN or a CNA, get your license and stuff like that in half of the time. That's how bad the demand for them were. I know in Northville, New York, registered nursing school was enrolling and doing overnight Pell Grants for women that needed to get their license and get their degree in RN, so they could join the workforce system there as quickly as possible. So you have to look at what was on demand. Okay. So being a nurse in healthcare, or being an RN or a phlebotomist, those were jobs that were in need and are still in need at that time. Excuse me. Also, media and communications. Media and communications. This was the time also, if you needed a job as far as in commercial broadcasting services, door to door, flyer to flyer on your cars, bumper to bumper, just old school fashion marketing techniques. Those were available as well. Social services and nonprofit groups were also in need. Personal care services were also in need. People that were bedridden and not able to get out of their home, they were in need of a caregiver as well. Anything as far as going to let me see, what do you call it? Like, not janitors, but servicemen, servicewomen, anybody that can work for a retailing, a real estate company, and be a on the field janitor. That means doing yard work. Maybe fixing something on a home for an elderly person or a person that can't do it for themselves. Things of that nature. Those type of jobs were available as well. Human resources, helping people fill out paperwork. There were during this time, we are experiencing a lot of unfortunate, uneducated people that need help filling out basic things like assistance with utility works. You can help a person fill that out. Filling out paperwork for people that are not really too shabby on their reading or their writing, and they need help in that area. That is considered human resource, and that is a job. I just want to let you know that now. That is a job. And so, first you can just start out helping your family members, elderly family members that cannot sign up for assistance. You can start off helping them get your practice there. Then you can take it on out into the world, and start building up your clients. Start letting people know, hey, just walking on the street, hey, I can help you. I can help do your paperwork. Blah 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 blah. This and that. Whatever your tactic or your pitch is to get your name out there. Before you know it, you have your own human resource service. You'd be surprised at how many people are not getting the help that they need due to lack of education. So that is a real demanding field that I encourage you to deep down get on it, get on top of it, try to get in there. The human resources, helping people fill out their paperwork. That is a must around here. I know for sure. Also, like I said advertising, and also you can help people that's not really too shabby online. Online workers are needed. People that are not normally used to going online to do things like paying bills. When COVID-19 came into play, a lot of people, companies shut down, and you were only able to pay online. I know thousands and thousands of people that have not and still don't have a smartphone. This is your time to go around and see who needs help setting something up. Make sure when you do come in contact with anybody that you stay 6 feet, social distancing, have your mask on, and if they ask for if you had your COVID-19 test, make sure you've been tested before you go out and try to help the community. We want to help each other, not harm each other. When we return, we will be talking about safety tips and how to make sure that you're safe online. We'll be right back, and we will be listening to My Symphony, you guys. Enjoy.
Zayamuddin.
Okay, yeah. In my symphony, my beat goes down the way you like it. In my symphony, I put down tracks straight to
Vayan within.
in my symphony. In my symphony. You can get lost to the beat. Man, it's crazy in my symphony, yeah. You'll lose your mind every time in my symphony, yeah. Let the beat take you to a place far away. You have nothing to worry about. Let your head down. Enjoy my
Vayan within.
in my symphony. Yeah, in my symphony. In my symphony, yeah. It gets hot, so hot, hot, yeah. You got to stop. Hey, in my symphony, the music will take you to another place. In my symphony, yeah. You won't regret it. You won't regret it, yeah. In my symphony.
And that was In My Symphony by the Real Super Savage. And we're on the Real Super Savage show talking about jobs that were lost and how to basically get back on your feet and in different areas and shine in different areas as far as jobs for women. We are now talking about the protecting yourself online. This is very important. A lot of people that are not normally online are used to being online as much as some of the rest of us are. They're having a hard time with protecting themselves. So I have some safety tips, very important, that I encourage everyone to pass on that are ways to protect yourself in the in the field of online internet, handling yourself better on that. This is brought to you by Norton.com. This is also a secure center for your internet. Norton.com. There are 10 critical steps to help you protect yourself. Do not open any email or from strangers. If you get a phishing email, basically that is it's an email that looks like it's real, look like it might be for you. It may look interesting. Do not open it because it's attached with malware. Malware is a virus that basically does damage to your home network. That's because drive-by-drive downloads can install malicious-ware on it and mess up your system. So do not open mail from strangers, okay? Also, make sure your devices are up to date. If you don't have a security software, web browsers and devices set up automatically to run those updates. Updates are often critical fixings for security holes to, dictate your programs and your devices. If you don't have an update, it's easier for a virus to get in there and get a hold to your information. Use strong passwords. There are several ways to protect yourself from identity theft online, and using a strong password is one of them. Unfortunately, people are still using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or they're using password. Do not use those. Those are replicas for identity theft. You want to use strong passwords and change them frequently. The best kind of password you might want to use is something that doesn't make any sense. Coffee cup, a magnetic field, something that's out there, something that's way out there, that's the craziest you could think about. An abbreviation to a sentence, maybe a phrase. Switch your numbers up with the phrase or something like that. For extra security, you can always do a two-factor authentication. With that, basically you're doing is you're verifying your identity after you have logged in. I know that seems like a lot, but it's a lot when you look in your bank account and ain't got nothing in the motherfucker. I'm just going to keep on doing it. Okay, so for security reasons, I always get a 2-factor authentication, and this is available, so opt in. It's a couple of extra steps, but it'll save you thousands and thousands of dollars. Do not click on strange links. Things that look strange to you and you're not familiar with, do not click on it just because your name is on it. They know your name by now. Okay, viruses and other forms of malware often spread because of you're clicking on different links. Find someone you know if you think that you've received a bad link. Trust in your friends or family, okay? Because you never know. Don't click on strange looking links. That is something that should be a bad mistake. Always avoid using unsecured public Wi-Fi. Don't go around using other people. Don't go to that laundromat using their Wi-Fi. Don't go to Taco Bell using, those are open, unsecured public Wi-Fis. Try to avoid using them because they make you more vulnerable to predators and predatory practices. Better yet, you want to use a VPN, your private virtual network, and you want to browse at home. If you're not browsing at home, it needs to be somewhere secure, like a job site, or a library. Those kind of places. Back up your data regularly. If you become a victim of malware such as a ransomware, you want to get your data backed up. Okay. When you backing it up, it's any breaches that's problematic for a hacker. It'll be even more problematic. Always back up your stuff. Okay. Be smarter with your financial information. Okay, be mindful. Okay, when you're entering your credit card number before you purchase anything on the website. Always know that the URL starts with HTTPS and ends with critical.com or .org or .edu, because it indicates that you're connecting with an encrypted safe website. Do not purchase anything from a website that don't have that on there. Okay. Storing your information on these sites make it easier for hackers to access. Never store. If it says store, store me so I can always be on here, and then you don't have to keep putting it at your purse or your wallet. Don't do it. Always say forget. Educate your family. Take time and precaution and educate your family on how to use the internet. That is a big deal. A lot of young kids that get on here, they don't know what they're doing, and it'll be the biggest mistake of their lives. Make sure that they know the steps. Avoid sharing your personal information. I know you get comfortable and you want to share some shit online. Hey, look at this video. Don't do it all the time. Sometimes let them look at some shit and look it up themselves. Keep yourself safe. Never share identity details like your full name, your address, or your financial information to anyone you meet online. Also, be careful about your username and creating a username for each site. There is no need to include your real name in a site. Sharing and safety tips are brought to you by Norton.com. I'm your host, Super Savage, and this is all for tonight. I want you to have a blessed weekend. Stay safe, stay masked up, social distancing, and internet savvy. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Vayan within.
Around us,